Hey, Randy Joe here, and welcome back to Jazz July, the series where throughout the month of July we are listening to different jazz albums. However, we are closing out July already, and we have 3 jazz albums left. So let's go those out. Let's get a move on here so we can start August pretty soon. But today we are covering Time Out by the Dave Brubeck Quartet. A rather short LP at only 38 minutes, like a lot of these jazz albums we've covered. They either seem to be very short or very, very long. But this one here, like I said, 38 minutes, 7 tracks, 1959, a revolutionary year. Actually, this album here, Mingus came out the same year with the same artist that did this cover. So just a little fun fact for you there. As you can see, they look quite similar in concept. But I'm sure the execution of these albums is very different. Let's kick it off with Blue Rondo a la Turk. Ooh. Dave Brubeck on the piano with Paul Desmond on the sax. All 4 of them here working together. Very playful sort of start to the record. They're kind of mirroring one another here. Paul Desmond with that sax, and now Dave on the piano doing the same melody. Oh, getting kind of aggressive. Constant trade-off. Oh. Really daunting. Kind of swinging sound. Into some smooth, cool jazz for a moment there. I love the gentleness of the bass on here. Eugene Wright. And Joe Morello's drums. Dun, 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 dun. Just gentle. Easy to ride on. This one's just super laid back. Oh. Dave coming back into the mix here. Again, really kind of mellowed out, chill vibe of this one. Feel like we're in a nice restaurant, you know, just enjoying our food. Good music to cook to. Oh, back into that rapid. Oh. Slowing things down. Rapid. Constant change of pace. Ooh. I like how we keep going with this. These faster parts kind of have a more hectic, kind of daunting feel to them. Very contrasting that laid-back nature of the other melody. Fantastic opening track. Love the contrast of the melody. Let's go into Strange Metal Lark. Keep things going here. This one opening. Really slow. I love Dave's playing. Very gentle. I love those really strong arpeggios. Oh, I love the very solemn approach to this one. Sweet kind of late fall kind of vibes to this track. Something you leave in a cold, depressive state, you listen to this. Oh, and that was just our 2-minute intro. We got Mr. Paul Desmond coming back. Perhaps the smoothest recording we've heard for Jazz July. It's very laid back. Very mellowed out. I feel like when people think of jazz, this is kind of the angle they tend to think of it as. The more laid back approach. More associated with clubs and bars and such. Really, with how like laid back this is, very subtle in its pacing. Because at 7 minutes, I mean, we're 5 minutes in, and I feel like it has been just really easy listening, which has made this, just feel like it's kind of flying by. There's like a sadness, a pure melancholy in this track. You can hear Dave's emotion in this piano. Fantastic track. I loved just how depressive that one sounded in a way. Or just melancholy, you know, it's not even sad, it's just like a feeling of unexplained sadness, perhaps. Let's go to take 5. 242 million streams. That's quite popular. The most popular of any of their tracks. Perhaps I've heard it before then. Paul Desmond back with his sax here. This one's more upbeat nature right off the bat. Picture a character with a drive. Kind of motivating with its sound. Like good montage music. Ooh. Like a weird step down there, almost like it surrounded us. Our bassist, Mr. Eugene Wright, he adds so much, while at the same time he's never in the forefront. Always a really strong backbone to the tracks, though. Joe Morello is like kind of taking things away in his own direction. Didn't even realize Dave on the piano this whole time. Getting louder with our bassist. Right back into it, like a strong embrace. The whole band comes together. Joe Morello really carrying the middle section of that track. I was wondering if this track perhaps featured in something, given how popular it is, unless it's just a jazz standard. But even then, I mean, 242 million streams, almost 243 million streams on Spotify is a lot for any jazz track, because, you know, as we've talked about on this channel already with Jazz July, jazz does not seem to be the most popular genre on Spotify. So I'm wondering, where do these streams come from for Take 5? It's a fantastic track, really has great montage energy. So I'm wondering, was it in a movie? Was it in a show? Let's just check. Yeah, it's considered a jazz standard as expected. Take 5 is positively received both in its release and current times as the biggest selling jazz single of all time. In 2020, New York Times called the standard among the most iconic records in jazz. See, that's fascinating. I mean, great track, incredible track, a lot going on rhythmically, but I'm just shocked to see it so popular, and then somehow it's escaped my radar. Let's keep going. 3 to get ready. I love how complex a lot of these compositions are, and how they play off one another, yet at the same time it's super easy to take in and digest as a listener. I've seen them compared to Tool. Oh, and well, you can see that with the odd time signatures and such. It is a very unique kind of trait of its own. And I think Tool is harder to take in for a lot of people, whereas this, I can't imagine anyone disliking how simple and kind of laid back and enjoyable this album is. I love Dave's playing. It's at times shocking, like here, while other times, you know, easy to navigate, somewhat predictable, not in a negative sense though. He lets you get comfortable just long enough for you to see the direction he's going into before he pulls away. Seems like Dave Brubeck is definitely the star of the band, considering how much time he takes up in the runtime of the album, kind of doing his own thing. I like that one. It was much more gentle, much more laid back. I mean, they're all quite laid back, but I feel like that one wasn't as in your face as some of these other tracks with the solos and such. Kathy's Waltz. Let's keep going. And there's our man Dave again, once again, leading things off. With only 4 members, it's impressive how interesting they can keep things. Shimmery. Like, good background music, but also just as good if you're studying the craft, you're interested in the rhythm, the notes that they take, the kind of carefulness of the players. The contrast too of Brubeck's piano work up against what's his name, Morello's drums. How fast he is, how rapid. And then Eugene Wright, again, his bass even slower than Brubeck's piano. They're all in their own league, but they all come together collectively. Brubeck's piano getting pretty loud there. Kind of daunting. See, he overplayed his band members. Ooh. Jesus. Just shut the rest of the players out there. I love that stark ending. Everybody's jumping. Let's keep going. Oh my god. Brubeck's piano. Oh, so frantic and energetic, that piano. Despite Desmond so gentle. Oh. Isolated for Mr. Morello once again. At times, kind of feels like he's just playing random notes there. Yeah, it all feels planned. I mean, nothing feels out of place. Not sure how I feel about this one. I like the more upbeat nature of some of it. But I don't know if it's one I'll come back to too much. Let's keep going. Let's go into Pick Up Sticks. Closing things out. The shortest track at 4 minutes and 16 seconds. Perhaps it's just the kind of cool jazz elements, but it also reminds me of A Kind of Blue by Miles Davis. One of the most iconic jazz albums ever. Not too much to say about this one either. I feel like it just kind of comes and goes. Not a negative. I just feel like, you know, it's cool. It's classy. But at this point, I feel like we got through the meat of the album. But that's okay. A subtle closer. And that does it for Time Out by the Dave Brubeck Quartet. I really enjoyed that one. It's short. It's only 38 minutes. So it's not like it takes a huge chunk of time to really absorb. However, some of these tracks are pretty, meaty with how much they're offering up in terms of complexities. Despite being very cool jazz, very laid back, very, classy sounding, and kind of what I feel like most people think of when they think of jazz. The instrumentation on Take 5, Strange Metal Lark, Blue Rondo, Turk, those three tracks kicking things off especially, feel like they offer quite a bit in terms of showing off the players and just their expertise with their instruments. Because only 4 members in this band, and I feel like they really fill out the time and make things feel very full, very vivid and creative, while at the same time still being very cool, laid back, and just classy, like I feel like cool jazz is known for. The last 2 tracks I did find didn't hit me as hard as some of these other tracks here. That's just me. Perhaps it's just a matter of, feeling like I've heard all of these already. I feel like you couldn't really push it much further. Take 5, 242 million streams, and I could see why. I do think it's the most engaging of all the listens, and I actually really loved Strange Metal Lark, especially. I think that one too is a fantastic listen, despite the fact that it's the longest. Just had great pacing, was really engaging to me, while at the same time still laid back and just took its time to really sink into you. Fantastic track. But there's not too much to really say about the album as a whole. It is a classic. It is considered to be a must listen, and this is definitely one I could see listening to, not just for the sake of kind of trying to picking up on all the complexities, but I feel like this could be easily a most listened to jazz album of someone's, considering how easy it is to put on the background and sort of just have it while you cook, make dinner. It has that kind of energy to it, while at the same time, if you want to sit down and carefully inspect it, there's a lot there to dissect. So, Time Out, Dave Brubeck Quartet, 1959. Certainly worth a listen. I do think it's fantastic. But that does it for today's video. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe to follow along and listening to more albums here on the channel. We only got a couple more jazz albums I want to cover, and then we're going to go into, I've already said it in one of my comments, August Country. So if you like country music, also subscribe for that, because we will be covering country for the month of August. You can go ahead and leave some comments down below of some country albums that you'd recommend, and I would like to check those out and listen to them with you guys here on the channel. As always, my name is Randy Joe. I appreciate you watching, and I'm signing off.